What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, looking at a brand new spell and trap removal slash destruction card coming out of Maximum Crisis, a continuous trap called Eternal Nightmares. I don't know, something about that name I just really dig. I feel like that could totally be the name of a booster set, Eternal Nightmares. Maybe it would be like, I don't know, some new Dark Worlds or a new Dark Archetype or something like that. You cannot activate this card's effect on the same chain as itself. There's not that many cards that have that effect where basically you can't use the effect multiple times in a chain, but I think Ptolemaeus might be, if I'm not mistaken. Pay 1,000 life points, then target one face-up trap or spell card, destroy it. Okay, so when I first read this card, I was like, holy shit, this card is absolutely insane. It's fucking broken as hell. I'm about to make the most clickbait title of all time to promote this card. But then I really took a step back and I thought about it, and I think that this card is an interesting one because I could see it being absolutely amazing in certain matchups, and then there's a lot of matchups where I just think it's like, you know what I mean? Not gonna actually do a whole lot, because when you really think about this, it's not actually MST, it's not Twin Twister, because it obviously doesn't hit face downs, and it is a trap, so it's slower. So it's kind of like a combination of, well, you know what it's like? It's kind of like a continuous trap that's a twister, essentially. Like, I could totally see you playing this against anything Pendulum based and absolutely shitting on them. I mean, if you think about a deck like Metalfoes, basically every time they activate a Pendulum Scale, just blow that shit up. Like, you activate Archfiend Eccentric, okay, pay 1,000 life points, pop it. You activate a Metaphos card, pay 1,000 life points, pop it. Kirin, Bumbunku, whatever you put in the Pendulum Scales, I'm basically just blowing it up. Or, you play against a deck like Wind Witch Idolna Artifacts. If they try and use Wonder Wand, if they try and use the Field Spell, you can just like blow those cards up immediately. So I could see it doing some work in certain matchups, but at the same time, it definitely can't, even though this card can be used multiple times in a turn, it definitely can't replace cards like MST and Twin Twister, because they can be played immediately. They can get rid of those threats that are on the board when you're going second, the Solemn Strikes and the Solemn Warnings, the Book of Moon, the Torrential Tributes, cards you don't want to have to deal with. And obviously, they can hit cards that are face down. So, you know what I mean? I think this card does have some good use, but there are a lot of matchups, guys. Like, if you're playing against Totally Heroes or Paleozoics, like, what are you hitting in their deck? Like, to my knowledge, those decks don't play any field spells. They don't play any equips like that. I mean, I guess if they use Call to Haunted or something like that, it could totally be good. Now, one cool thing about this card is it does hit cards on your side of the field, which means I guess you could play this in like a deck like Metaphos, and you could even side it in against another Pendulum player, and if they're not putting cards on the field, you can like blow your own, Metaphos combination or something like that up, and you'd be able to search. So I see this card as definitely a card with potential coming out of the side deck. I think it's exceptionally good against like Pendulum decks. Obviously, being able to hit like Floodgates are good, but you got to think about it, man. If your opponent has like Vanities and you're playing like Zodiac Beast, like, you don't want to wait a turn to get rid of Vanities, man. You'd rather have MST, and that's it. You need to get rid of that Vanities now so that you can fucking play Yu-Gi-Oh. Getting rid of Vanities during their turn, or even, waiting until your turn, like, you might be dead by then, or you might be like completely out of the game by then. So this card definitely has potential. I don't think that this card should be overhyped. Like, it is a very good side card. I mean, I'd put it up there with, I'm trying to think of like other good cards, because I don't think Twister really see, like, cards like Dust Tornado and Twister. They're actually, now that you really think about it, there aren't any traps that are spell and trap removal based that we even play. Like, no one plays Dust Tornado and shit like that. So maybe this card is kind of a league of its own, but I do like the idea of playing against a Pendulum deck and being able to pop like 4 cards for 4,000 life points. Like, shit, I'll take that any day of the week. If I'm able to get rid of 4 of your cards, like, I seriously doubt you're gonna come back. And if you do, then clearly I fucked up, because you play this against like Cleaford, pop their Skill Drain, pop their Necro Valley, pop their Vanities, pop all their scales, and it's like, what the fuck can they do? You know what I mean? So you guys let me know what you think. I think this card is pretty good, though. I think it definitely deserves its rarity of a super rare. Whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Again, a card with a very high ceiling, but again, it's so many matchups I could just see it being kind of useless. And any deck that doesn't play like continuous spell cards, continuous traps, or doesn't play like field spells, equips, and stuff like that. Totally forgot to put this in the video, but I did want to make sure that it gets in. I could totally see this as an anti-spell fragrance replacement for Ritual and fusion decks. Not like, contact fusion like Ritual be so or whatever, but decks that have to use their spells to go into their extra deck, like Lunar Lights or Fluffles or Gym Knights, because it's just never been it's never been practical to play anti-spell fragrance against Pendulums in those decks, because you need to be able to constantly use your spells just as much as they do. So I could totally see this being an easy card to just completely wreck them. And at the same time, I guess if you're playing a deck like Fluffles, you can blow up your own toy vendor with it as well.